Okay. This is the regular Woodbridge Board of Finance monthly meeting for Thursday, October 20th, 2016. And the first item on the agenda is public comments. No?
Alexiadis, 14 Seymour Road, Chairman of the Fire Commission. I came tonight to, number one, thank you for all your recent time and consideration with regard to the Fire Commission and Fire Department's proposal for an aerial apparatus. While we don't agree with the way things turned out, nor with some of the substance and procedures, we recognize that. I mean, I know how much time I put in. Your time didn't involve a trip to Delaware to inspect the vehicle, as mine did. But I know how much time I put in, and certainly you all have put in considerable time and consideration yourselves, and I wanted to thank you for that, despite our disagreement about the outcome. I'm concerned that our relationship, which has always been colloquial and working together, has in recent weeks and months become somewhat adversarial, and I don't want that to be. So we have much work to do, both our commissions, going forward, and I look forward to a collaborative process rather than an adversarial process. With regard to the aerial apparatus, the sense that I have from much of the discussion, and particularly at your special meeting, was that some members of the Board of Finance have a different view than we do of what the appropriate aerial device is. So, I want to ask you, and I'm not looking for necessarily an answer right now. I know this is public comment and typically not a dialogue, but I want to ask you what aerial device you think is appropriate for our department. Because, I clearly got the sense from your meetings that members of your board think it's the wrong truck. We think very much it's the right truck, obviously. But we need to know going forward whether you do not believe that the department should have an aerial device, being a ladder, which is the category of whether you call it a ladder truck or a tower. They're all aerial devices. So we need to know whether you believe we should not have one at all, because that's essentially the situation we're in now, or whether there is something in your judgment that you think that you believe we should have. I don't want to prejudge it. I'm not presuming we're going to agree on that, but we need to know that, and we don't know that now. So that's my question, and I look forward to continuing the discussion.
It's fair, and I appreciate you coming before us tonight. Thank you. And we will work towards not being adversarial. I think I listened to what Susan Jacobs said, and I took it. I thought she was very eloquent in her remarks. So I think we can work on that.
Thank you.
Thank you. Okay. Administrative Officer, Director of Finance report, Mr. Genovese.
That's
how it's really pronounced.
That's right, yeah.
Kind of like
Genovese. I mean, come on, man.
And I'm Giglietti, not Giglietti.
That's
so
right.
you know.
And he eats fruit like
Liddell. And you can see I eat fruit Liddell. Have you ever had them, Paul? We ever brought them while you're? Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, Tony.
So there's not much going on the first quarter of the year. We've got a few minor items. One's a holdover of a $75,000 grant that we should have received last year. That's the primary issues thus far. We are earlier in the year, however, and so as issues come up, I will bring them to your attention.
Okay, so we're holding at a
About 10.3%.
10%. That's
yeah.
good. That's good.
That's great.
Okay.
I'll say this, not even to invade Tony's territory, some of what's coming out is sounding much improved over last year for the next budget, so you'll hear more about it later. I don't know if Ellen will talk about it, but I know. Okay, that takes care of budget. Audit status, Tony?
The McGladrys starts Monday for their field review.
Okay.
And should be here for the following. Usually they're here for about 2 weeks at the town and a week at the Board of Ed.
Okay. And Woodbridge Board of Finance, I think I heard Bob Gilbert the other night at the Board of Selectmen meeting, there's about a $21,000 deficit.
Which is
But he-
effectively.
He also said that there could be some outplacements coming, but we'll see.
Yeah.
So that's far better than last year, is what I'm talking about. Last year at this time, it was like 350,000
Right.
deficit.
Right.
Okay. Anything else, Tony?
I had. Do you want to go over this when you do your report? Yeah. No, I'm done. That's
Good?
it.
Okay. I believe we have one funding request. So this is a $15,000 not to exceed number, consultant services for radio reports, so I'm sure we're going to hear some information on this. So I'll move acceptance of request for funding 1617-02 in the amount of $15,000. Okay, Tony.
So,
tell us what we're
Paul,
doing.
feel free to jump into this. Did you hear from you in any of the meetings when we discussed this is funding? This is for. Okay, so this funding is for. There was some discussion last night. I don't know if you heard it at the meeting, but so the radio committee is moving along, and we're making some good progress. And one of the issues we had was that with the Understanding the Radio project, we were getting a lot of our information as discussing with Northeastern, which is the licensed Motorola dealer in our area. But we felt that we needed an independent review of our setup and advice from an independent person so that there were no conflicts apparent or real in the process. So Paul Zito is a consultant who has a lot of experience in this area and has done this for several other towns. And his proposal is to help us with this process in an hourly basis with a not to exceed amount of $15,000. And so the committee felt it was something that would be very helpful moving the ball forward on this radio project. And so we've had some meetings about that on the radio committee.
Paul Zito has tremendous experience in this field. He's worked with the state, he's worked with many other towns, and he's very knowledgeable.
So this, because I get confused, we've got this radio thing and we've got this console is not working, and what exactly is this? What are we bidding on?
So this is the umbrella for the whole thing.
Public
the
Works.
towers, the console, the simulcast radio system. Not the handhelds and the portables, but the radio, the entire radio system, which are the towers, the console and police, and all of the connections that exist.
Okay.
And so it'll help us to identify.
You understand this? You understand this?
We're getting
Okay.
there.
Okay.
Yeah, we're getting
That's
there.
why,
I remember I was on a radio committee many years ago, and I got to tell you, I would sit at these meetings and say, "Oh my God, what are these people talking about?" I would, it's technical. I think Susan said that the other night. It's very, very.
We're actually making some pretty good progress.
Okay, and as long as you understand, I mean,
Yeah.
because there's everybody's got radios in their budget, and you just get to the point where you say exactly.
What's important, Matthew, is that when it's all finished,
Yeah, everybody's happy.
all our departments are able to communicate
Yeah.
on the same network.
Correct.
One system.
Okay,
Right.
one system.
Okay.
Yeah.
Problem you have in case of a disaster, they can't talk to each other. Okay, this is what,
Right.
and this goes back to 9/11. Okay, goes back to 9/11. So this has been fighting this battle going forward now for a long time. So I mean, this is
And when we had the last radio was 2003. and it's technology. So,
Yeah,
it had a 10-year lifespan at that point,
Yeah.
and so.
okay.
So
Plus, the
one of
coverage is more complete for the town. There are lots of spots where, first responders just can't get on the radio. This gives us not total coverage, but much more complete than what we have.
So can you explain how this relates to the approval to replace the police tower with the steep funds? Because to me, that should be all part of the one system. And if you're going ahead with something for the police department, aren't you limiting your options for the entire system?
So the police tower is is used currently and will be used under the new radio system. And the steep grant has a deadline. It's part of the reason why
Sure.
we're moving a little faster, is to be able to get in under that deadline. But the tower is a replacement of like for like. So it's just going to be replaced with a new tower, which would be the same height, because the one there is reaching the end of its useful life.
Okay.
And this tower is necessary for the complete system.
Regardless,
It'll become
Older.
an integrated
Okay,
part.
I just want to make sure that we're not limiting our options in terms of the system design that we have based on the type of tower we put up.
No, I don't think that's.
You don't
that's
think
an
so?
issue.
Yeah, we
Okay.
are working on parallel tracks with Paul on this topic.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, any other questions?
I just want to say, I wanted to thank Paul for being part of this committee, and they've really made good progress on a very difficult topic for most of us, and to try to give us a report in plain English that we can start to understand. So it's been great help. Thank you.
Okay. Anything else? All those in favor? Aye. That's our only funding request. Approval of minutes. The first set of minutes is from our regular monthly meeting of September 15th. And I'll move acceptance of the minutes of September 15th as presented.
Second.
Any adjustments, corrections, suggestions at all? Hearing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Andy, you will abstain? You weren't here, right? You were
In here?
You were in
Oh,
Las
that's
Vegas.
right, I was in Las Vegas.
That's right.
I'm gonna abstain. I was having fun in
See, Andy, I know
Vegas.
your schedule better than you. Because we didn't have even a shot of getting Spooey Adult that night.
Were you abstaining in Vegas?
Okay,
Happens
next.
in Vegas, stays in Vegas.
Next was this very interesting meeting on September 22nd. And I read through this, and I think that's an excellent job, Karen. Thank you.
Thank you.
And I will move acceptance of the minutes of September 22nd as presented.
Second.
Any discussion? All those
No, I
in
think
favor?
Karen captured the spirit of the meeting.
Yes, she did.
By not even being there.
It probably was easier that way.
It was.
Okay, all those in favor? Aye. Okay. Ellen?
Thank you. I won't do my usual report of activities, but wanted to just mention a few significant things. First, I want to echo what Aaliyah said and thank this board very much for the work you did with respect to the fire truck, and I want to thank the Fire Commission as well. I think these are very strong feelings about this, and I think we've gotten to a good place, and it looks like we'll get to a better place of people working together, which is so important. So thank you to the Board of Finance for that. I also have an update on the country club. As you all know, this is a topic that persists, and there have been rumors and developments, and I just want to take this opportunity, as I did at the Board of Selectmen, to set the record straight. We had been hearing from many people that we had a new $4.5 million offer for the property. I don't know if any of you heard that, but it was pretty widespread. And we were getting FOI requests for the offer with the name of some person I'd never heard of. We never saw any such offer. We did get something from Alan Tyma, and he has been for years talking about a group that's going to get together to buy this property. And a letter came from his law partner offering $700,000 for the property, but without a total conservation easement. So they wanted to pay us $700,000 and reserve part of it that they could flip and develop, and ask to be on the Board of Selectmen October agenda. But before that time, withdrew because they had looked at things and they thought it was going to cost them even more money than they thought. So even that is not on the table.
That was a wise move.
Now, at the same time, we've been notified by Redan Reserve, that was the joint Yale project, that Roland Betts is not looking to do anything with the our golf course at this time. He's withdrawn his offer. In his email to me, he said he would be going ahead with Yale, only the Yale golf course at this time, and begin the reconstruction and improvements in the spring of 2017, indicating he had an agreement with Yale. Now, the Board of Selectmen felt very strongly that we needed some indication from Yale of their seriousness about this, because nothing would happen without it. So I did speak to somebody at Yale, and at least as of October 5th, there was still no deal even between Redan Reserve and Yale. So that's off the table now. The door is open for future discussion, but again, even the first step has not been taken. So our alternative plan, which we had put on the table at the time we were talking about Redan Reserve, is to really look more closely at what it would take to convert this property to open space. I, for one, and many others, do not consider a golf course to be open space. So what do we do with this property now that there are no private sector proposals on the table? We all know that the Toll Brothers development plan has engendered very vociferous opposition. I think that plan is probably the more conservative fiscal plan, but not something the town is open to. So Tony has been working on looking at the costs of different aspects of an open space conversion, and also different iterations. You know, there are so many decisions that will have to be made down the road. He has priced out sort of the basics that we'll have to do no matter what we do eventually, and I believe that's been distributed, Tony, this
It has,
evening?
yeah.
So you all have that in front of you. I don't know if you want to go over tonight or just take it with you to look at.
Yeah, I'd rather have some time, I don't know.
Yeah.
It's up to you. I'd rather have some time to look at it.
You could certainly
Sure.
read through it and then,
Not anything's
Yeah.
happening this month, or
No, and
I'd
if there
rather
are,
read through it.
you know, we'd love to hear from you if there are other iterations you'd like to see or other considerations that we haven't taken into account. And in addition, Tony has had an inventory done of all of the equipment, both the golf equipment and the furniture and all the other items of personal property at the country club, in contemplation of an auction of the items. And you have that list in front of you also. Tony has spoken with our different departments, with the Parks Department and Public
Right.
Works, to see what we might need and use in town before we go to the auction. So that's on the table as well. So I just wanted to be sure you were up to date on that, because it is one of the most significant fiscal issues that we're facing.
Certainly, if we let this thing just grow, you can kiss goodbye to the golf course. Because
right.
once
They said,
the greens aren't cut properly.
yeah, I think
and-
Brian said once you get to April, if you haven't done anything in April, then it's pretty much gone.
Yeah, because they're going to take
Right.
care of it through the end of the year, is that? I know-
Yes,
I know
they'll be there
Casper-
for December 31st.
Casper's leaving October 31st, or they're terminating their contract, I heard, or
Well,
something?
they're not trying to terminate at October 31st. They're
Oh.
there till December 31st, but on a
They're
scaled back
pretty much going to
basis.
stop
So if we get to the
operations
end of the
October
year- if we get to the end of the
31st.
year, yeah, you
Yeah.
buy yourself 3 or 4 more months.
They're going to winterize the
Maybe
irrigation
something-
system.
Maybe somebody will swoop in and,
That's the big thing, was to winterize the irrigation.
yes.
Yeah,
Oh,
which
yeah.
they're going to do.
Yeah.
But, you know, I think we've seen from everyone who's come to look at the property, from the kinds of proposals that have been made, that as a golf course, this is really not worth anything. The Redan proposal was not for a golf course, it was for our 150 acres of land, because what he was suggesting is plowing the whole thing under and starting over. So he was not buying a golf course, and letting it go to open space really does not affect the value in that regard. So
So
that's where we are.
Excuse me, the estimate to knock down the clubhouse is about 620,
Not including any asbestos or any
asbestos.
sort of,
You know, there is, I remember walking through there, there's
yeah,
definitely
there
is.
probably is, yeah.
Is that with soft costs?
That includes soft costs, yeah.
We have a pretty extensive analysis of the cost of different options for the clubhouse. I don't know if the Board of
It's on mine
Finance.
though, but I don't
Got
think,
that report.
probably not.
A lot of things to be considered.
There's just a lot of considerations after speaking with a lot of different people that are involved
Okay.
that you wouldn't think.
I would say, yeah, why don't we read through this, and
Sure.
next time we can talk about it.
Okay.
Does anybody have a guestimate on what the hazardous materials would be?
In the building?
You know, sometimes it's hard to, when I took a tour through, there were, I don't know, to me, that white stuff over pipes is that's, but I don't
They have
know.
asbestos, there's asbestos there.
Yeah, it's gotta be.
Most of it is involved with the plumbing. That's not a big deal to secure that.
Right.
I can't tell you how many times I've had to do that.
Yeah.
You know, you can make, there's certain things, it's, you know, it's the hidden stuff. We've identified that we have really no environmental hazard in the ground, okay? That's the real problem. I mean, other than the fertilizers, now that was the main thing. And we've already identified that. Tony's estimate is what, $650,000?
No, it's actually gone up. It's
Going up?
Yeah, it's like close to 800,000.
750,000.
750?
Yeah,
750,000.
Yeah.
Like any of the asbestos, there's definitely asbestos in the boiler rooms, and all those pipes probably have asbestos in them, but it's not gonna be that. They go in, they tape it off,
Case it.
put positive air in there, and they take it down, and they bag it up, and they get it out of there. Now, I'm sure we may, now if we have asbestos tile on the floor,
Yeah.
if there's tile on the floor, I mean, that has to be also handled.
That's more expensive.
You
This
know.
was built in the 60s, I don't even know.
Well, it's built in the 60s, so you have to assume there's asbestos in the building.
But at least we'll have a handle on
Yeah,
what
but
the
the
costs are.
remediation
We can.
is-
The remediation
yeah.
is the big item, yeah.
And it's gonna be, you know, there'll be an item, but I don't think it'll be a huge item. Unless there's something there, unless there was something there they were dumping into the ground and a drain going down into the floor. I mean, that's,
I think we would have known that.
But we
I
have-
don't
think we would have
but
known
yeah,
that by now.
I think so.
with all the test borings and everything we did, so.
Okay. Ellen, you have anything else? Okay. Liaison reports, Amity, Monday night. Their operating budget currently shows a $290,000 surplus, which is quite an increase over the last time, because again, now that school's underway, this is as of September 30th. Now that school's underway, they're getting a better idea of special ed and so forth, so it's good that we're at that point. As far as what they're gonna return to us, I gotta find that. Okay. Last year, they returned $318,000. This year, they're gonna return $220,000. So it's a drop off, but we've got some really good news. We've got
But
really good news.
in the budget,
Yeah.
this is what they're gonna return. So this is what we put in next year's budget. In our budget this year, we have, I think, it's just 100,000 or something. So it's actually an increase budgetarily,
Okay.
even though it's a reduction.
Yeah, 'cause
in
we use
actual
it for
dollars,
Beecher.
Because we use it for Beecher.
Right, and again, that's what I'm saying, it's good news, because last year at this time, we were looking at a $400,000 shortfall
Right.
in Beecher, and we used a lot of the
Correct.
Amity money to offset
Correct.
that.
Yeah,
so-
right.
So,
So
I
that's
remember
good
we
news.
were talking about $1 million, $700 million, actually Amity was $1 million.
Yeah, yeah.
And then Beecher,
good.
so we were sitting here saying, oh my God, this is not gonna be a good year, so. Now, the good news, the real good news, they did their enrollment report, and I really can't believe this, but Bethany's school number dropped by 19. Woodbridge's dropped by 12. Now, last year, if you remember, it went up 7 and the other two dropped. Orange's went up by 16. So there's a net decrease at Amity of 15. And what that means is, if there were to be a 0 increase in the budget, Bethany's share would go down by 328,000 change. Woodbridge's share would go down by 151,743. Again, last year was a $1 million increase.
Yep.
So that's a much better. And Orange's would go up 480,200. So Orange is already screaming, which means that Amity's in for a lot of fun. And I said that night, I said, hey guys, we took it like men last year. We got hammered by this budget. And realize that the way this thing is done, we have to live with the process, which is, how many kids you have in the school divided by the total, and that's your percentage. So this is we're way ahead of last year, so hopefully,
Wait, it's 151.
with a 0% increase.
Yeah, subtracted from the million that we already increased.
Well, yeah, but I'm talking about the budget figure, in other words, the budget figure we have in there this year.
We're trying to be
It'll be
happy.
dropped by.
No, I
it'll drop
agree,
by
but I just
151.
wanna make it
I mean,
clear,
the
it's not
chances of a
like-
0% increase are absolutely.
I understand.
Although Orange will shoot for that. So that's a good thing.
Okay.
That's a good thing.
Our
No.
base is still the higher base.
Now,
Yes.
on another note, I just thought I'd mention this to you. I had to chair the meeting because the chairman of the Amity Finance Committee was not there. And normally our meetings last an hour and 10 minutes, and we were out of there in 22 minutes. So they're putting me in the Hall of Fame. I broke the record. I broke the record for finance meetings, and we got all our work done. So they were in a state of shock that we got through so quickly. So. Okay, Paul, do you have anything?
No, I didn't.
Okay, Karen.
I did go to the Human Services, and they are working on the senior fair on November 5th. That everyone could participate. It should be a wonderful event. And they're still exploring cost-effective ideas to make a more welcoming environment. I think we're working with Tony and Public Works and visiting, and they have some great ideas for again, cost-effective solutions that could make a big impact on creating a more welcoming environment. So, all's well with Human Services. Great staff, great commission.
Yes, it is. Sir, nothing? Okay.
I played hooky.
Okay.
I was out of town.
Sandy?
All right, I went to the Library Commission this past Monday, and I want to let everybody know that the Purvis Lecture, this is an annual lecture that's sponsored by the Friends of the Library, is going to be November 9th. And the author is Betsy Lerner. Her mother actually still lives in town, and she's actually a New York Times bestseller author. And the book that she wrote is called Bridge Ladies, I believe. And it's actually about, I don't know if it's her mother's experience with playing bridge with other ladies at actually the JCC in Woodbridge. So, but I would highly recommend that people
That's
go
got
listen
to
to
be
her.
that's got to be a bestseller.
Well,
Does she name names?
I'm sure there are many interesting twists on it. Anyway, they will be getting new chairs for the community room. Thank you to the investment committee for approving use of the Clark Library Fund. And they're anxiously awaiting those, and those will not go outside. The problem before was that they took their chairs outside. They were using them for the farmer's market, and they developed mold and other things. So they're going to protect these. They have actually started offering Hoopla, which has downloadable content for math, audio, health, audiobooks, music, comic books, and also lynda.com, which actually is a great resource to the community. This is actually courses online that you can take about all kinds of things, Excel, PowerPoint, but also human resources, management issues, things like that. And to really have that available is a great resource for the community. They have prepared their capital budget and will submit that. It has to do with replacing rugs. And luckily the insurance covered the rug in the children's room, but there is a rug in the adult area in the lower stacks that needs some fixing. And then they do want to eventually replace the seating that they have in their kind of comfortable chairs. There's 16 of those, but that's kind of down the pike. They did approve some holiday hours, and those will also depend upon when Town Hall decides to close. And there is interest in designing a new logo for the library to make it a little more contemporary. So they are exploring those options. I did not go to the Board of Ed Finance Committee meeting for Beecher. Matt already relayed that they have pretty close to zero balance at this point, even with their special ed costs. There was discussion about offering their voluntary early retirement program much earlier in the year so that they could actually include those numbers in their budget for next year. They also did have a capital budget, and they are looking to continue their site improvements on the grounds. And then they are separating out their infrastructure computer equipment from their operating computer equipment. So there will be a request for continuing to fund some infrastructure work in the school. And I just want to personally thank you, Matt, for your professional representation of the work that the Finance Committee has done. And I think that it really is a very talented professional group, and it was very important, I think, for us to be at the meeting yesterday and to create the balance that we think makes the town work well. So thank you for representing us.
Okay, you kind of stole my words, but I was gonna, before we adjourn, just say that it's pretty much the same thing. Thank you. I wasn't kidding when I said I believe, I've worked with over 30 years, I don't know how many Board of Finance members. It's gotta be 110, whatever. And this is truly, some really, really wonderful people. But this group is truly the finest group of people. As you can see, we can get business done in 32 minutes. And unfortunately, we're missing one of our key members, but I have every faith David will be back with us soon. But I remember at the budget hearing a couple of years ago when it was an election year, we were actually under attack, and someone suggested that we were called the yes men or something, and someone suggested that I let people know the talents of this group. And one person said to me, "I never realized you had so much talent on this board," and we were missing one then. There was only 5 of us, and I think if I added Paul's credentials now, it would just enhance it even more. So we do have we have a really talented group of people. We have a great group of people, and I really do appreciate coming to tonight. That was not a pleasant thing. A lot of people think I enjoy stuff like that. If you watch me in that chair, I was all over the place. It's nerve-wracking to be sitting there like that. I did not enjoy it, and having you there, knowing you were behind me, you truly had my back, obviously. But also, when I got back to my seat, I think if I got up to talk, Sandy would have tripped me. So,
And thank you, Sam.
Andy would have tackled me.
Yeah, right.
So I sat in my
I
seat.
had to have my hand on your knee.
Yeah, you did.
I felt very uncomfortable about it.
So I sat in my seat, and I got to tell you, my family was watching it on TV, and my wife told me they were all screaming, "Don't you dare get up! Sit in your seat, don't you?" So it was good advice. So I think it was honestly, it was a remarkable evening, though. Some really interesting stuff came out of it, and I really do appreciate Elia coming tonight. I think that was
Yes.
I think it's
commendable.
I would agree.
I was
very
commendable.
important we remember who we serve. We serve the
Yeah,
taxpayers.
exactly.
That's who we serve.
And I have to give some thought to that about, I did get, a lot of the people I spoke to did speak about the type of truck they think Woodbridge should have, and I can certainly share that at some point in time. But I thank you for coming, and I'm glad this is behind us, and I hope we can just move forward. Now, again, thank you. Wednesday night, you guys want to get together, what's it called?
Budget forum.
They want to do a budget forum, because there's,
Want to do a budget for 'em?
I don't know.
How about, why don't we name this year the year of the taxpayer?
Yeah, there you go. Well, bring it up.
No increase.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. We'll talk about that.
Why don't we get our...
This is going to be a joint meeting.
Why don't we get our people
Board of
conditioned to
Selectmen.
the fact that last year's budget may have to be this year's budget,
Yeah, yeah. We can talk, sure.
okay?
Yeah.
Now, I know a lot of people
We're way ahead of last year.
outside, in the private sector, are living like that every day of the week,
Yeah.
and they have to make those decisions. So I don't think that's, I think that's what we should strive for this year. I think taxpayers need a break.
We'll bring that up Wednesday night, with 6 o'clock?
I'd be happy to bring it up.
Yeah, I'd appreciate I'd appreciate if you can't make it.
I don't know if I can make it
It's
next
coming
Wednesday.
Wednesday, a week from
Next
yesterday.
Wednesday, I think they already have something next Wednesday.
Yeah,
I guess-
I won't be able to
It
go,
should
but I
be.
did get some.
Did you tell us to reserve that day?
I think Karen
Yes.
did.
Next Wednesday, is that Halloween?
No. That's the following
It's
Monday.
26th.
Why, you going out?
Huh?
You going out? Or you're going to hand out sweet doughs at your house?
Get dressed up, I do, every year I get dressed up.
But I
Okay,
have
yeah.
gotten an awful, I was shocked, I've never gotten calls before, and I had at least 4 today. And thanking the Board of Finance for watching out for them, for doing the due diligence, for researching this and really watching out for the taxpayers. And I was stunned, I never got calls like that, so very passionate. So, your leadership starts that, you make us all better, and I think we do remember who we serve. I mean, we said it at that meeting. I remember those people standing up at that meeting. We're not here, we're spending their money. This is not our money, this is no one's money, and we do take it very seriously. And so thank you for your
Being the
representation.
one.
Thank you.
Okay.
No, I actually wanted to thank Ellen for her leadership of the Board of Selectmen and their decision last night to really kind of recognize what the Board of Finance was trying to say and do. I think it's a very hard stance and a very difficult position for everybody to be in. But I think we're stronger because of that, and the fact that they were able to be pretty unanimous about their feelings and their respect for the work that we do. So thank you.
Thank you, Sam.
Okay, is there anything else?
Yeah,
Yes,
Andy
sir.
does.
Tony,
Yes.
I love your list. How much? What are we talking about here? In dollars.
Well, I'm
I
not.
mean, you know me.
Give me
You
an offer.
You give me half the list.
Make me an offer.
What's the
We
value?
have to auction. We have to go to auction for it.
I understand
We
that,
haven't
but
gotten that
what do we
authority
estimate the
approval
value
yet.
to be?
So I
Our
think
basis, what's our basis on it?
the salvage value of the equipment, which is the first page, is $50,000. That's the large equipment.
That's
list.
it?
That's the majority of the. That's the large ticket.
Are there any
items here.
mowers in here?
These are all large mowers. Yeah, so it's probably $50,000,
You looking for one?
$60,000.
I want to golf.
The rest of it's smaller stuff.
Golf carts. We don't own the golf carts.
We don't own the golf
Wait, we
carts,
don't
yeah.
own the golf.
No, we lease
Oh, we
them.
lease them.
Yeah, we lease them.
And how much of this does the Parks Department think they're interested in?
Just a few. Not a lot of it. There's 2 or 3 things he checked off.
All right.
Yeah, for the mowers would be a good idea, I would think.
Depends on what the use
Well,
is.
some of these mowers,
Board
they
of
use the
Selectmen talked
greens,
about
they
that.
cut the greens.
You cut the greens.
Yes,
this,
about-
They're
you know.
special, they're
Yeah.
special.
Right.
I went home.
Right, whatever the
Except
town
the big
needs.
I went home that
total.
we were here and watched the rest of the meeting on TV. These poor guys were there
Yeah.
until 9:30. Oh my
It was a
God.
long meeting.
Longer than that.
I've gotten 3 offers
Yeah.
for all of that equipment.
Oh, yeah?
3 different courses have said they would most likely bid on that entire lot of equipment.
Take
Oh,
everything.
wow, that'd be great.
Yeah, just take the whole.
Take the whole thing as one lot.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
And I was thinking of maybe we should all have a homework assignment, that we should all get a copy of the charter, read it and report back to us, and see if you can explain it to any of us, because if you haven't read it, you should at least.
How
you
many
should at
months
least
do
take
we
a
get
glance.
to do that?
Well, I thought one of the
Well-
best lines was when Matt said he's used to reading the thousands and
74,000 pages of the tax
of
code.
the federal tax code, and it's easier
It
than
is
reading
easier
the
to
charter of the
navigate.
town of Woodbridge.
It is easier to navigate, it is. It is easier to navigate.
But aren't too many
It took me an
towns-
hour to figure those 2 little lines out of
There's
that.
not too many towns left that has this form of government in the state.
True.
I mean, how many towns are left that really?
Well, I was
don't?
talking,
charter,
I was
yeah.
talking to the Bethany finance director and the fellow from Orange at the Amity meeting. Bethany doesn't have a charter.
Right.
They don't have a charter.
really?
Yeah, no, they don't.
That's fascinating.
Yeah, yeah. They don't have a charter. I said, what governs you? I don't know how they operate a little differently than we do.
Robert's Rules of Order.
Yeah, yeah. Okay, motion to adjourn.
Second.
All those in favor? Aye. Hopefully we'll see you Wednesday night, and have a good weekend.